In the summer heat of 1792, before the United States even felt fully real, a small silver disc changed hands in a way no one recorded properly. It didn't arrive with fanfare. It didn't sparkle in a parade. It slid quietly from palm to palm, tested between teeth, weighed in silence, and accepted with a nod. The envelope was thinner than expected, yellowed at the edges, and sealed with a red wax stamp that had long since cracked. When Elliot Merroway slid it from the climate control drawer beneath the Philadelphia Mint archives, he didn't yet realize he was holding a question that had never been settled. The label on the drawer simply read "Early Denominations Disputed." That alone should have raised alarms. Philadelphia smelled of iron, sweat, and ambition. The Constitution was fresh ink. Power was still theoretical, and money real. Physical money was a problem the young nation had not yet solved. Foreign coins dominated pockets: Spanish reales, Dutch guilders, British coppers. Independence had been declared, but Americans still paid each other in the currency of empires they had rejected. Inside a rented building near 7th Street, a handful of men worked in near secrecy. No grand mint yet, no marble columns, just crude presses, borrowed tools, and silver melted down from personal collections. The official records would later be vague, cautious, almost evasive. This story brought to you by USA Coin History. Doesn't begin with gold or silver glittering under candlelight. It begins with absence, with what wasn't agreed upon. In every textbook, the early American coinage is presented as orderly. The elf cent, the cent, the half dime, the dime, the quarter. Clean, linear, official. But the documents Elliot held suggested something else entirely. A fifth coin authorized, discussed, partially struck, then quietly abandoned before the ink dried on its identity. The arguments are not academic. They involve missing documents, personal favors, private funding, and a future president who may have bent the rules before the rules were fully written. What makes this coin dangerous is not what it is, but what it implies. That the early United States ran on improvisation. That legality followed necessity. That trust was built before systems existed to enforce it, and that someone, somewhere, decided this coin should exist before the country was ready. The problem wasn't whether the coin existed. The problem was what it meant. This is not just a story about metal. It's about power, secrecy, and how history gets polished long after the fingerprints are wiped away. Across town, at a private conservation lab near Rittenhouse Square, Maribel Quince was examining a dull gray planchette, no wider than a modern nickel. No date, no denomination, just a faint Liberty profile on one side and a barely legible eagle on the other. The metal wasn't silver. It wasn't copper either. Early assays suggested a strange alloy one never officially adopted by Congress. Maribel had seen counterfeits. She'd seen fantasy strikes. This wasn't either. The wear patterns told a different story. This coin had circulated, briefly, among hands that believed it had value. Meanwhile, in Washington, Caleb Doran, a legislative historian specializing in the First Congress, was reviewing correspondence between Treasury Secretary Alexander Hamilton and a lesser-known committee clerk named Rufus Bellamy. One line, scribbled in the margin of a draft bill, refused to be ignored. Asterisk, the fifth piece, confuses the scale, but satisfies the market. To understand why this coin matters, you have to understand the chaos of early American money. No denomination was named, no metals specified. And yet the phrase appeared in 3 separate drafts, each later crossed out. Coins are supposed to be definitive. They declare value, authority, and trust. But what happens when a nation's fifth coin is born into disagreement, economic, political, and philosophical, and then erased before it can be named? That question would drag archivists, metallurgists, auction houses, and federal committees into a conflict stretching from the 1790s to the present day. And at its center was a coin that challenged the clean narrative of American money. Not the rarest, not the most valuable, but possibly the most inconvenient. To understand why the fifth coin mattered, you had to understand the chaos of early American commerce. In 1791, the United States didn't just lack coins, it lacked consensus. Spanish relais circulated beside British coppers. Merchants used foreign silver by weight, not denomination. The Coinage Act of 1792 was meant to end that confusion. On paper, it did. But the act didn't reflect the marketplace reality faced by shopkeepers, dockworkers, and farmers. Harlan Puteridge, a Boston merchant whose journals survived in fragments, complained that exact change was impossible without a mid-range copper-silver substitute. Too small for silver, too valuable for copper. Hamilton knew this. His reports acknowledged it. Yet, Congress balked. Too many denominations, they argued, would confuse citizens still learning decimal currency. That's where the fifth coin emerged, not as rebellion, but as compromise. Caleb Doran traced its origins to a subcommittee meeting in early 1792. The proposal was in T-radical, a low-value coin made from a debased silver alloy, intended to bridge copper and precious metal. It would stabilize prices without draining the mint's silver reserves. The resistance wasn't economic, it was symbolic. Opponents feared that introducing an in-between coin would undermine trust in American money. If citizens couldn't tell value by metal, what stopped inflation? What stopped abuse? So the fifth coin was never named, never officially struck. At least not publicly. But Marable's lab results suggested something else. The alloy contained trace zinc and tin materials used experimentally at the mint during equipment calibration. These weren't private forgeries. They were test strikes. Elliot Merraway found the final clue in a ledger misfiled under machinery expenses. A line item for miscellaneous planchets alloy trials. Non-circulating. The date matched the disputed drafts. Someone had authorized production. Someone had released them. And someone had decided, very quickly, that history would forget. The conflict erupted not in an academic journal, but at a closed-door appraisal meeting in New York. Leonard Ashcroft, director of the Atlantic Numismatic Exchange, had seen thousands of rarities. He had never seen a room divide so fast. Half the panel dismissed the coin as a pattern. The other half argued it was worse. A circulating strike without legal definition that made it dangerous. Maribel testified first. She showed where maps, oxidation timelines, microfractures consistent with pocket friction. This coin bought something, she said flatly. Probably bread. Caleb followed with legislative drafts. Elliot presented the machinery ledger. The confrontation wasn't about value, it was about precedent. If this coin was acknowledged, it meant the official story of U.S. coinage was incomplete. That's when Nora Whiteline, representing the Federal Numismatic Registry, intervened. Recognition, she warned, would open claims. Private holders, institutional embarrassment. Questions about what else had been buried. The debate stretched for months. Letters flew. Scholars accused each other of romanticizing anomalies, but one fact remained untouched. No one could prove the coin wasn't real. And then, a second specimen surfaced. This one came from an estate in Maryland, wrapped in linen, with a note dated 1811. Asterisk, odd piece, but accepted in Baltimore. At that point, denial collapsed. The fifth coin wasn't a mistake. It was a solution Congress abandoned halfway through. The registry's final ruling avoided spectacle. The coin would be classified as a provisional circulating issue. Not a denomination, not a pattern. Something in between, just like the coin itself. Elliot Merraway watched the update go live with mixed feelings. History had expanded, but not cleanly. It never those. Maribel returned the coin to its holder with a conservation report and a quiet smile. It didn't need permission to matter, she said. Caleb published his findings with a cautionary conclusion that money is as political as it is practical, and that compromise often leaves artifacts behind. The fifth coin of the United States didn't fail. It simply arrived too early for certainty. Stories like this don't survive because they're reconvenient. They survive because someone notices what doesn't fit. Here on USA Coin History, we don't just catalog dates and mint marks, we follow the arguments, the erasures, and the coins that challenge official memory. The fifth coin wasn't the most beautiful or valuable piece ever struck, but it exposes the tension between theory and trade at the nation's founding. If this story changed how you see early American money, subscribe and stay with us. More hidden denominations, lost mints, and disputed strikes are waiting, because every coin tells a story, but some were never meant to be heard.